Hi, everyone. So, I'm in the middle of writing my next book about employment, and I needed to take a break because it's bringing up some stuff that it's not pleasant to think about. But before I share some of that, I know I said I wouldn't plug, but I'm going to. I'm not getting a lot of traffic on Amazon, and that's probably because I'm not doing any marketing or anything like that because I just don't have the time. And I'm lazy, but I really just haven't had much time to figure that part out. So it would be very helpful if maybe you wanted to go on Amazon and search for Autistic Ange in like the book department. I've got 5 Kindles out. They're not even long enough for me to be able to turn it into a paperback. They're just supposed to be like quick reads about one aspect a month of autism as like I experience it, just so it's relatable for people. So this month I actually have a book, like it's long enough to be published as like a paperback too. Like all I've been doing for the last like few days is like cramming because I didn't know like just how much I had to say about employment. And what I'm doing in this journal is, or book, but I call them journals, is each chapter is about whatever job I had at that time, and just all of the fucking shit that I had to deal with. Like trying to navigate workplaces when you don't even know you're autistic. So I just have a bunch of stuff about that I'm guessing is going to be relatable to people. And now I see why people like wait until the last minute to like write. Because every month, just about, I haven't been able to get things done until the last day. Because I don't know. I can manage my time well in some things, and some things I can't. But I also am very like, I have to keep to deadlines even if I'm the one that sets them. So I've given myself the deadline of 1 book a month, and I have met those deadlines, and I just have 1 more section to write and then edit the book, and then I can publish today. Maybe go on later and like take a look if you want. But anyways, writing about work, like, I know I've talked about like work before on here, but thinking about some of that stuff, like it just, I don't know if it's PTSD or what, but like last night I had a nightmare about the last place I worked, and the night before I had a nightmare about the military. So, and it's because like I am recalling some stuff that actually I haven't thought about in years, just situations that I've been put in, being treated like shit everywhere I go. It's weird because it feels like when I started whatever job I had, I don't know if everybody else feels like this or if this is common or if this is just me or if I'm cursed, but like wherever I've worked, I start working, right? And the place had like a decent reputation before I got there. Like people were doing their jobs supposedly, like things were fine. And then like I'll be at these places for like a few months, and that's when shit starts to go like south, and I don't know why the fuck that is. Like when I went into the military, like I'm just gonna skip that. The military is just fucked. Sorry if that offends anybody, but like I'm just gonna skip that. But like my first civilian job, it went well, and then I found out that like the manager was like stealing and like just doing stuff she shouldn't be doing, and stuff started going downhill. And then I asked for a transfer to, because it was Family Dollar, I asked for a transfer to like a second one because they had an opening and I needed to get away from that bitch, and she transferred me, and I start working there and everything's great. And then it starts to turn south. So I'm wondering if I just like, maybe I just don't see that stuff right away. Like the majority of people, when you start somewhere new, you don't know what's been going on there. People are like, oh yeah, we're great. Like maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But now I'm at the part, like, I'm wrapping up the substance abuse part of my employment life, and the first outpatient I worked at, the CEO was a straight up fucking narcissist. She was mean. She had negative energy. I could tell when she walked into the fucking building. Like, I knew the minute she walked inside, because it's just like the energy fucking changed. And she was a bully. I hate to use that word, but I don't know what other word to use. But it was just a nightmare job. The only good thing I think that came from that is I met Alicia there, and I figured out that I liked counseling, but like, it was a nightmare. She made things like hell for people. She would have us come in on the, like, so one time we were about to get inspected by Oasis, or I'll just say the state. I guess that, if that makes more sense. Sorry, my talking sucks. You know, it just always does. And it's especially bad right now because I'm having a little bit of anxiety thinking about this stuff. What was I saying? Good things about that place. Oh, yeah. So we were getting inspected, and I know this sounds arrogant, but Alicia and I, like, that was the first place we worked at together. We worked at 2 other places together. Every time we were at a place, we turned it around. We took it from shit to, I don't know, not shit. We, made huge impacts. We revamped programs. Like, we were really good at what we did. And a lot of the times, like, that was taken advantage of. But what was I even saying that part for? Oh my God, I shouldn't have recorded. So anyways, the CEO bitch that I'll call Ursula, because that's a fitting name for her, she goes, well, Oasis is about to come in any day now, and we have charts with like paperwork that is late or like is signed after the date it should have been signed. So basically, she wanted us to go through charts and backdate. And I'm embarrassed to say that Alicia and I did go in one weekend and we did some backdating. My only excuse is I just was pretty naive or ignorant, or like maybe I was just that scared of that lady, but I made the poor decision to go in and do some of that, and so did Alicia. And then when we went in that Sunday, the next day, we were having second thoughts, and we sat down, we're like, I don't think this is right. Like, it's just not right to lie and say that, like, you did something on a date just to make it look like you did it before it was due. Like, Oasis is so fucking picky about paperwork and dates. I don't get it. I just don't. But they're sticklers about it. So Alicia and I had decided we're just going to stop doing this and tell Ursula that this is wrong. It's unethical. And you shouldn't have asked us to do that in the first place. And so we did that. Didn't go over too well. And she just like made things worse for us. And I'm just thinking about some of these like things just from that job. I remember like going home feeling depressed, hopeless. I was negative like the majority of the time. Like, even when I wasn't at work, I just was a negative person. And that being my first like outpatient program, like the pay was shit. But I had just gotten out of college and it paid my bills, so I needed the job, and it gave me the experience that like I also needed so that I could work at other places. But my mental health was so bad the last year that we worked there. We were there for 2 years. And then we went to an intensive residential out in Liverpool in New York that we ended up moving out to Syracuse for. And that got shut down after 6 months because higher ups were embezzling money that was supposed to be used to repair the shitty fucking building that was falling apart. And so the program just got shut down right before Christmas. And we had to sit here and deal with the fact that, like, okay, we've only had this job for 6 months. We came here to turn this program around. That's why they hired us. They had no training materials, no group curriculums, yet they had been open for years. Like, what the fuck were they doing with clients? Like, what were they working on them with? I would love to know. But Alicia and I got hired there because our supervisor from the first place got the fuck out of there and then got this job and then told her boss about us and then got us in. Because she's a good worker and they wanted more of people like her. And we saw why when we started working there. And so during that 6 months, we got a house out here. We moved from an hour away. We had to create pretty much everything, training, curriculums, like there was nothing. There was no education materials for the clients. It was just a huge shit show. And Alicia and I did it. Like, we did what we needed to. I even created a criminal justice program. And they gave me full reign over it. And I was like a pig in shit. I fucking loved it. Like, to get complete control over a program that I wanted to do. And, like, what could be better than that? But during those 6 months, also, I was being bullied. There were so many staff at that building. Like, you had aides, you had cooks, you had the people that were there, like, for the residential part of it, you know, and then the counselors. And so, like, yesterday I was writing about that, and I remember getting, like, I wouldn't say in trouble, but that's what it felt like. Basically, like, people were not doing their jobs. I needed paperwork that should have been readily available, and the person that was supposed to have it didn't. I had a client that needed to be driven to an appointment, but the driver was missing. I was asking for help with some aspects of my job that they were supposed to help me with and wouldn't. And so I was like, this isn't right, you know? And so, like, the more I asked for stuff and pointed out, like, hey, this is your job, like, you need to do this, then it started getting highlighted that, like, that whole group of people just showed up for work every day and basically didn't do anything. And, like, I pointed it out because I'm like, I need these things. Why hasn't anybody else ever pointed this shit out? And do you think that they made them change their behaviors? No. The director didn't seem to give a shit. I was the problem. I apparently had a bad attitude. I needed to work on it. I had been told this multiple times in the past by multiple, like, employers, and like, you guys, I'm sure, were told that at some point as well. And it's just not fucking true. Like, yeah, I'm irritated because I need these things to do my job, but I don't have a bad attitude. Like, I need to do my job. I'm allowed to be frustrated when I'm unable to do that. I don't get it. But that was terrible. It was just terrible. Oh my God, my mental health got worse during those 6 months too, because, you know, like, finding out you're working for a bunch of fucking fuckers that are stealing money. And because of that, the program got shut down. We got laid off, and we had to relocate these clients to, like, so many other programs, all before Christmas. It was not a good Christmas for anybody. I remember, like, crying myself to sleep many nights while that was going on, because I had discovered that working at an intensive residential facility was way more interesting than just doing outpatient. But it wasn't to be. And so that didn't make me feel very good yesterday. And then, like, I'm getting ready to I have 2 sections actually left. I'm getting ready to write about, like, this post office job I got when I was unemployed after getting laid off from that place. And I was bullied there. I just had, like, people treat me like shit. And I was a good worker. But because I broke my finger at work, and had to do that whole thing, like the injury report or whatever the fuck you do. They didn't like that. I was apparently like blacklisted or something, or just whatever. Nobody wanted to talk to me because I broke my fucking finger while I was doing work there, and I asked to go to the hospital and for them to pay the bill to have it like fixed. And then like they just started like, you did this on purpose. You just wanted to get out of work. And it was a summer fucking job. It was a summer job that Janice, at the time, she was our landlord. She retired from the post office. She was able to help me get in there a little bit easier than other people. It was a summer job. And like, I swear, like the staff, the management there treated the issue like I had burned the fucking place down. And so I'm not looking forward to that. And then the last piece of it is this last job I had, which really tanked my mental health. And that was the one that I just was like, I quit, and I had no plan. I had no idea of what I was going to do. I just had to stop working there because it was so toxic, just so toxic. And I'm not looking forward to writing this next part, because like I know that stuff is going to come up that like I don't know if I've like maybe repressed or forgotten about, or I don't know, but I'm not looking forward to thinking about some of that stuff. And it's weird because I feel like I'm in a good place emotionally and mentally, but like I almost forget about that when I'm like thinking about these jobs. Does that make any sense? Because I'm right back there reliving that shit, and it wasn't all bad. Like there were good times. The only good times for me were the times I was actually doing my fucking job. Like those were the only good times for me. And apparently other people don't like it when you do your job. So I don't know. I just don't get it anymore. But I wanted to get on here and just like say that out loud. I know I'll be fine like later. I'm not gonna like cry or anything. It sucks to think about that stuff. I'm sorry that I'm just complaining. I don't mean to just be complaining, but like it was traumatizing, the whole employment aspect of my life. I got PTSD from it. There was not one place I worked where I was treated like a human being. And I promise I'm not the problem. Like I am not the problem, because one time I had somebody point out, God, who was it? I don't know. Some coworker that I told stuff to, that I stopped telling stuff to after this, was like, don't you think you're the problem? You keep going all these places and all this shit keeps happening to you. Like, you must be the problem. Ugh, and that's not true. Like, I feel like I was only the problem when like I was pointing out stuff that was not being done, that was supposed to be getting done. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Why bother paying people to do work if you don't want them to? Like, you want to just get hired somewhere and you want to just show up and do nothing for like hours, and then like when the person gets hired that does like to do work and like highlights the fact that you just sit on your ass all day and you didn't want people really kind of catching on to that, now you're pissed and now you want to like pick on the good worker. I wasn't the problem. Alicia and I, especially at those places that we worked, we were the best counselors there. That sounds very pretentious, but it was true. We were the best counselors that those programs ever had, because we went in and we like got shit up and running again at these places. And that's not even what we were supposed to do. We were just counselors. But, like when you see areas of improvement, like I can't just not try to improve them. And, so like you bust your ass for these people and they shit all over you and they don't thank you for your hard work. So I just wanted to say that out loud before I get back to it. I hope it's relatable. I mean, I think all of us have struggled at some point with some job because of just being autistic. Like, I just have always felt like the odd one out wherever I've worked. And I know why now that I felt that way, but it doesn't make it right. I wish that stuff just never happened. I wish it would stop happening to people. Because it doesn't feel nice to be treated like crap. So, anyways, I'm going to get off now. Hopefully I'll be like in a better mood the next time I get on here. Maybe I will be, because I'll be turning 40 and I'll have to do the I'm turning 40 episode. And then I promise I'll stop mentioning my age so often after that. I'll try my best. Okay, thank you for listening. Goodbye.